Tautheory plays Wrath, Aeon of Ruin.
The Outlander, our protagonist of Wrath, extends his ruination blade as he begins to hunt down the remaining guardians of the old world. The first scene opens as he draws his blade, ready to kill. This initial animation and all the others to come set a very clear context. You're gonna kill lots, die lots, and have lots of fun doing so. This testosterone feeling that surges in my body is reminiscent of how I felt playing Doom 2016. This is a game I knew I would come to love inside and out. So let's take a closer look at Wrath's early access gameplay.
Levels.
The hub, the buffering zone between all of the carnage. The hub gives you a bit of time to explore and pick up items laid out about the area before you venture into a new mission. It's also a glorious example of how to get teasers right. Here are 3 towers that seem to be emitting energy into the sky. While it looks to be simple background aesthetics, they are actually teasers for the types of architecture you'll see for the level of the mire. If you look beyond the snowy graveyard, you can also see hints of what the other level will look like, the Undercrofts.
E1M1, the Undercrofts.
I imagine the developers had a coffee session and asked themselves, how much do we want to destroy our own levels? Well, it turns out their answer was a lot. Coffins, pots, wood, and secret passages are among the destructible you encounter in Wrath levels. For this level specifically, it's full of tombs and coffins ready to burst with enemies. The snow environment provides a perfect contrast between all the visuals, especially when there are gibs and blood everywhere. A combination of tight passageways and open-ended areas with enemies waiting to take you down, the Undercroft serves as a great entry level.
E1M2, the Mire.
The dead forestry and dangerous vines is a sure sign that you're not going to have an easy encounter here. There's plenty of water around, which means you're going to be spending a lot of time swimming and jumping out of the water. Wrath even decides to start teasing the Outlander by immediately hiding the red glyph when he's about to acquire it, which means there'll be plenty of surprises down the road. There is one extra bit I wanted to mention about Wrath that stood out for me. Even something as simple as a portal is not so simple in Wrath. The beginning portals do not track your view movement within the darkened stars, whereas the ending portals do so in a very mesmerizing way. I love how this small differential made me take a step back at the end of my first level to think about why did the developers add this nice touch.
Weapons. Ruination Blade.
To me, the Ruination Blade is the featured weapon in Wrath. It's no wonder this is my favorite killing tool in the game. The attack animations are smooth, and when you're done slaughtering your enemies, you can even go for a swim to clean off the blade. But what makes this weapon the ultimate killing tool is the secondary fire, which is a very long lunge that launches you forwards or into the air. The cooldown is so perfectly timed that there's no longer a reason to use the primary attack. The only flaw with the blade is that you cannot launch projectiles, so you'll end up in situations where you have to use non-melee. Speaking of, let's take a look at the pistol.
Poach gun.
Your standard grade pistol. But is it? This thing is great for long range and hard to reach enemies. Secondary fire seems to be a weaker shotgun, so I'd rather just use it for distance.
Shotgun.
My groin tingles when I hear this thing fire. The shotgun sounds like a beast, and does it ever pack the punch. I love it when enemies explode when I'm using this thing. Secondary fire takes a little too long to warm up in my opinion, as hordes are always nearby, plus the enemy's projectiles are very quick. There's just not enough time to charge up that secondary. Overall, this is my secondary weapon of choice.
Fang Spitter.
The chain gun that shoots out fangs. Super efficient for ripping through hordes, but its secondary fire is too weak at the moment, so I'd rather push and use my blade. A very nice touch they added to the Fang Spitter is that when you're out of fangs, The gun will still rotate the barrel even though it's empty.
Wretched.
Last but not least, the Retcher. This thing gives me the creeps. The pickup animation is solid, and my first impression was that it was the bio launcher from Unreal Tournament. It does what it needs to do and it performs well.
Enemies. Fallen.
Your Exhibit A zombie. Alone they're easy to take down, but in hordes you need to be very careful not to get swarmed.
Wraith.
In most cases, the wraiths are just annoying and can be easily tackled down by your blade. Otherwise, you best teach them a lesson with your coach gun.
Invader.
Exhibit B zombie, but with guns. Their main weapon is way too powerful over distance, with the flak doing insane damage with little to no spread. Be careful, they will snipe you from far away.
Afflicted.
The don't use melee enemy. These green, goopy enemies throw cysts at you like it's Halloween, and if you're near them, they may explode, causing some caustic damage. It's best to take them out with shotguns from a far distance.
Widow.
This is your Exhibit C zombie. These young and fruitful enemies will run at you like she hasn't had a meal in months, and you're the first burger she's seen. You can easily take these guys down with your blade.
Executioner.
In my humble opinion, these guys are the most badass enemies in the whole game. They wield double blades and do some serious damage. They will charge at you and block your projectiles. 3 hits with the Ruination Blade will take them down. A nice cherry on the cake is that these guys can actually clean up hordes for you. Be careful.
Stricken.
Imagine if Afflicted were seriously large, and they spat cysts at you rather than throw. That's what these chunky enemies are all about. On high health they will spew up a single cyst, but when damaged they will shoot 3 at a time in an arc projectile. Personally, these are the enemies I hate the most.
Heretic.
Heretics are super cool enemies. Big floaties that are after your precious meat. When they get enraged, they'll zoom towards you with their tongues out and ready to munch you down. 2 strokes of the blade and they're a goner.
Pickups.
What I really enjoy about something as simple as items is that there's an opportunity for the game team to decide on how they interact whilst waiting to be loved. In Wrath, they make it easy to spot by having them stand out visually from the map, and some are in constant motion.
Artifacts.
For artifacts, we're going to leave these ones for you to explore. However, there are currently only 4 you can collect, stack, and use throughout your Wrath experience. One thing I do want to mention, though, is about the artifact menu, which I love how the game slows down, yet continues while choosing an artifact to equip. It's a really nice touch, and I'd love to hear the sound having a time bend as well.
Sound engineering.
I took a moment out during my early access Twitch stream to talk about how much I love the sound in the game. Every noise you hear has been detailed to ensure a well-balanced noise track that is accompanied by the music. The low bass, the stone doors opening, or the high-pitched blade sound as you switch to it makes my ear craygasm for days. Just listen to the following detail.
Music.
Hulshilt, you lovely human you've done it again. I love what you composed in a medieval, and I feel even more exhilarated in Wrath. My ears love the teaser, and I can't wait to hear the whole soundtrack. Keep up the great work. I hope you enjoyed watching this review of Wrath's early access gameplay. The team at 3D Realms really deserves some major props for this one, and the long-awaited release date can't come any sooner. However, 3D Realms, please don't rush, and make sure to take your time. I can't wait to play the full game. On a side note, I'd like to point out that this game is an excellent speedrunning candidate. You can be sure to catch me running this one very frequently. Until then, this is Tau Theory.
Thank you for watching.